So, you've just loaded up your brand new level 30 Amon. You've opened up all your quest rewards, and you're sat here with a load of random loot that means nothing to you. And you're thinking, what do I do next? In this video, I'm going to show you what you need to be doing next. I'm going to get you going from powerless to insanely powerful. I'm going to be giving you a build and some quick farming spots to get you feeling like an absolute badass. Now, the very first thing we are going to do is we are going to press start, we are going to go over to our session settings, and we are going to turn off Ultimate Vault Hunter mode entirely. There is no need to have this on, you are just going to be absolutely destroyed if you keep this on. So we're going to go ahead, turn it off, put it on normal, and we're going to apply these settings. Otherwise, everything is going to be 3-4 levels above your level, and that is not what you need when you have no build whatsoever. Now, the first thing we're going to go over is the skill tree. The skill tree is focused around giving us a very long action skill. That way it helps with survivability and dealing with good damage. We are also focusing on ordnance damage and magazine size, helping us deal with those bigger enemies like badasses, or dealing some good chunk damage to bosses. And it's also going to give us some good weapon damage, helping us for when we don't have our action skill available. Now, the action skill we are using is Scourge. This is going to give us a shield, which will help with survivability, and we are going to be able to launch Forge Waves, dealing cryo ordnance damage to enemies it passes through, consuming Vengeance to increase damage dealt. And as you can see, it uses cryo ordnance damage, so any ordnance buffs is going to help increase the damage of our action skill. For the augment, we are using Eternal Winter. Forge Waves now partially restore action skill duration and firewall duration, which ain't important, on damaging enemies, and can be activated 3 times in succession. The third activation will launch a massive Forge Wave that deals increased damage and does not consume Vengeance. This essentially is going to give us a longer action skill as long as we are hitting enemies, and a stronger action skill as well. And then finally, we are using Glacial Rupture. Firewall is now replaced with Glacial Rupture. Pressing and holding our action skill button, we will swing 2 Forge Whips, dealing cryo ordnance damage over 2 hits to nearby enemies before slamming into the ground, creating a fissure that deals more cryo damage. Now, we are focusing heavily on cryo damage in this build because we are going to be buffing cryo damage in this build, so it's going to be our strongest damage output. For the skill tree, you want it to look exactly like this, and I'm going to briefly read you through the skills. Let me quickly take off my class mod so that way you don't get confused by anything you see affected by that. So, we have 4 in Scorched Kairos. This is going to give us stronger ordnance damage, meaning our ordnance weapon will be stronger and buffing our action skill and our capstone as well. We're going to put 1 point in the Thrill just for some nice health regeneration passively, and then we're going to put 5 points in Battleborn, giving us increased gun damage the more full our health. These two synergize quite nicely. Next up, we're going to put 4 in Eternal. We're going to gain increased action skill duration and gun swap speed. The main thing we're after is the action skill duration. This, paired with our augment, means that our action skill can last for ages. It's absolutely incredible for starting off when we are feeling powerless. And then finally, for the top section, we are putting 5 points in Ancient Ways, giving us 30% increased cryo damage. This is going to affect our weapons, our action skill, and also our forge skill. And then now we are going down the middle skill tree. For the bottom, we are putting 5 points in Icy Rage. Killing an enemy with cryo damage from guns or status effect will give us cryo affinity, giving us more gun damage. This is very beneficial because we are using ice weapons in this build. Next, we are putting 5 points in Age of Ice. Amon deals increased damage to frozen enemies and bosses. We're going to be freezing a lot of targets because we are all about cryo damage in this build. We're going to be able to freeze targets with our action skill as well, meaning we're going to deal 30% more damage while we are using our action skill on frozen enemies. And the fact it counts on bosses as well is very helpful because some of these early farms are going to be bosses. and then this also gives us access to our final Glacial Rapture capstone. Now, for the levels after 30, for getting to 40 etc, you can throw points into various sections. If you want to focus on gun damage, I highly recommend putting some points in Bullet Hail, or if you're focusing on some more ordnance damage, you can also put some in Machinist. If you're focused on more survivability and action skill, you can put a few points in Warrior's Cup. Or if you wanted to go down a different skill tree, for example Cast Iron on the green skill tree so you get your forge skill quicker, this is also a good idea. These are just some of my recommendations, but honestly you can spread this build out however you want. If you want more action skill, go with some of the action skill perks in various other skill trees, or if you want ordnance damage, there's plenty of ordnance stuff in this build, or this skill tree. Now, for our first farm, we are going to go ahead and make our way over to HORACE's oversight in the Fieldlands region. We are coming here because we are going to farm HORACE. The main goal of farming HORACE is to get the Aegon's Dream, which is a Vladov assault rifle that is guaranteed to drop cryo, which will synergize with this build perfectly. This is going to be our weapon of choice for the next 5 to 10 levels, or until we find something better by a random drop. Now, our main focus is to get the Aegon's Dream, however HORACE is also going to drop us a load of other random items, meaning we can get ourselves a better rep kit, ordnance and shield while we farm him for the Aegon's Dream. So we should come out of here feeling a lot stronger than we did going in. A quick tip, make sure you are picking up everything you don't need as junk and selling it at the vending machine next to the Moxie machine. This is going to get our money up and make it so we have money later down the line to pay for the other farms we are going to be doing. Now that we have finished farming HORACE and we have got ourselves the Aegon's Dream and a load of other powerful gear, we are going to be focusing on our next farming spot, which is going to be ORIGO, the Vault monster for the Terminus Range district. Now, we could just look up the Vault key locations and just blast our way straight there. However, I would actually recommend coming to the Terminus Range, grabbing all 3 of the silos and any safe houses you come past on your way. The reason for this is because we are going to get currency for some storage deck upgrades, which is going to be crucial as 1, the Aegon's Dream takes up a lot of ammo, so upgrading this is going to be very beneficial, and also upgrading our backpack is going to be helpful too. If we just blast our way straight to ORIGO, we're going to go in there with the bare minimum, and we are just going to find ourselves struggling, especially on the ammo side. So, now that we have collected our 3 Vault key fragments and we are in the Vault, we're going to go ahead and just complete the Vault like normal. Our action skill should be able to carry us through this, as every time we hit someone with our action skill, we should get some of the energy refreshed back to us. Which means for every wave, we should be able to use our action skill the whole way through. If you do come up short on your action skill, just pop your ordnance and use your Aegon's Dream, and you will be absolutely fine for getting through the 3 waves of enemies. In terms of some tips for the main boss ORIGO, again, just pop our action skill and that should be able to carry us through this encounter. When we do lose our action skill, we're going to pop our ordnance, and then we are also going to use our weapon just like normal. If you do have a strong electric weapon, this is highly recommended, as ORIGO is an electric type boss, or a shielded boss, so electric is going to melt through him. Now, don't be expecting to melt through ORIGO. Each encounter is probably going to take about 2-3 minutes. This is absolutely fine because we are brand new off the boat and we should not be having a build to melt bosses. If so, at this point, this video would be absolutely pointless. So, don't be disheartened if your runs for ORIGO are taking a few minutes at a time. Now that we have made our way through the vault, we are going to go ahead and use the Moxie machine to repeatedly farm ORIGO until we get the item for Forge Knight, being his class mod called Shatter White. This reads Forge Waves now deal melee damage, in addition to their other types. Melee attacks while Scourge is active will give us increased cryo efficiency and radius, and this also drops with increased cryo damage and ordnance damage. This class mod is going to synergize with this build absolutely amazingly and turn this into an even stronger build. This is going to make our forge waves we use from our action skill deal even more damage, and we're also going to get the other benefits of increased cryo damage, which is going to increase our Aegon stream damage and our action skill, and we're also going to get increased ordnance damage, which is going to be helpful for shredding bigger enemies. This is the main thing we are looking to get from this farm. However, he will drop other stuff like the Kazon, which is a very good SMG, which we can use as well. And he's also going to drop some other weapons and gear, which can be helpful to this build if we manage to get them to drop. But the main thing we are after is the Shatter White Forge Knight class mod. Now, that is it in terms of our farming for Amon. At this point, we should have a very good skill tree, which synergizes with our brand new class mod we farmed, which synergizes with our weapon we farmed as well. At this point, you are more than strong enough to go off and do whatever you want. However, I do have some suggestions for you, which I think would be very beneficial to do before anything else. The first thing will be finishing the vaults. Doing this, you are going to upgrade your glide pack to its max capacity, and this is going to help you get around the map and also encounters with bosses. I would also recommend doing some bunkers and mines to get some easy storage stack upgrades, helping you fill up your storage upgrades for your backpack, your weapons, etc. I would also recommend you doing some side quests, the most important one being the Vend Off the Line side quest in the Carcadia Burn region. This is going to give us a guaranteed legendary reward for completing this quest. These are just my suggestions. However, like I said, you are now free to go off and do whatever you like. This has been my fresh level 30 Amon guide. If you think I missed anything that would be beneficial for people to know, put them down in the comments because someone might find them very helpful. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. A like and subscribe goes a very long way. We are on the road to 500 subs, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.